Hey guys, I'm the 50s Kid. This is a 2001 Kia Sportage. In the previous video, I determined that the misfires on this car were being caused by low compression in cylinders 2 and 3. And we've got about, I did a leak down test, we've got about 80% loss in both of those cylinders, and it's all coming through the intake valves. So there's an issue with the intake valves. I don't think it's due to mechanical damage because I can still see that the valves are synced with each other, so I don't suspect that the intake valve has skipped a tooth and isn't being closed when it's at top dead center, because the valves are definitely closed. So we have determined that I'm going to pull the head off and try to refurbish it as best I can. I'm going to do sort of a poor man's valve job where I just, remove the valves, clean them up on the brass wire wheel, and then try to lap them in to improve the sealing, and then we're just going to put the head back on. I'm probably going to take the head to the machine shop just to get it resurfaced depending on the warpage. So that should be around, I don't know, 45, 50 bucks just to do that. I'm not going to get it cleaned or anything like that. And then I'm going to put it back in so, we can just get out of this with a minimum amount of money spent. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to work on getting the intake removed. And I've already removed the battery, as you can see. I think, to me, it's going to be a little easier if I just remove this top portion of the intake. That way I'll just be able to see the bolts a little better, I think, in order to get them off. Because I can see there are 8 bolts holding the lower intake manifold to the head. 4 along the bottom, which I think I'll probably be able to see if I kind of, or at least I'll be able to feel them. It's the top ones I'm kind of worried about. You should be able to snake through in between the intake runners to get at them, but I can't really see that very well. And everything's just covered with oil down here. So since I can't see them, that kind of, makes it particularly difficult. So better if we get this out first. I think that's the only 10. And looks like there's another bracket holding it on the end there. Oh, this is loose. Okay. Since these are studs right here, I think we need to get this bracket off. There's a vacuum line connected to it, top and bottom. And I think there was another bolt that should have been on the bottom, but it looks like it's stripped out, so this might have been off before. Previously in this thing's life. Let's see, what else? Okay, some ones inside here. Okay, so those are the long ones there. Yeah, there we go. We need to get this off. Another one. Okay, what else? Looks like that bracket is sort of in the way a little bit. Let's see, maybe we can come up high enough and just get past it. Yeah, okay. And this looks like it's threaded through. Oh, and then there's some lines connected to the bottom of the throttle body, probably coolant lines. So, let's get those off. Ooh, those are nice and gunked up. Okay. Set this guy aside. I'm gonna see if I can remove this part of the battery tray. Looks like just a little extension piece here. That way I can get my hand in there more easily. See if we can twist that around. Okay. What else? This can come out of here. Kind of don't care if it drips out some of its coolant, because it's a little plugged up. Move that out of the way. Let's get these unplugged. Okay, I care. Yeah, those are gonna have to come unplugged. And then we can pull off a couple of lines, and the fuel lines are gonna be back here. Fuel system should be depressurized. I can probably get at them just right now and pull them off, but they're in kind of an awkward spot. I really can't see them. I can see them actually, but it might just be easier. It might be a little easier once this is off. I'll just have a little more access to them. So yeah, we just need to pull off the connectors, pull off 8 bolts. We should be able to get it out. So you got to pull out the little metal clips on these. I guess all the way. Yeah. So we'll just set those aside. I'm just using a little pocket screwdriver. These are retarded. I don't know why they didn't make these push clips. Okay. Oh, and that doesn't want to just come out of the way. So we'll unplug it here and here. Let's see if I can put this clip back in. Yeah, okay. I have to kind of do a little repair job on these wiring harnesses. We got oil pressure sensor down here, probably. Okay. So that should be free to thread through once we get the intake manifold off. So, you know, you kind of needed to take this top part off anyway. You wouldn't have been able to get the intake out of there without doing that. All we need to do is remove 8 bolts. I think there are 4 nuts and 4 bolts. I think the other one is through here. This is probably going to be a tricky one. Not too tricky. All right, I'll get it off the ground later. So the bolts seem to be on the center ones and the nuts are on the outsides. This is even trickier because I can't see down here. All right, let's try for an outside one. Man, there's a lot of stuff. There's just a bunch of hoses and wires back there and it's all tangly. So, I don't know. I need to be able to see what I'm trying to get on first. So let me do some investigating. Okay, now that I got some light down there, I do believe I can see them. There's also a bracket that's holding the intake manifold in from below. I'm gonna have to get that. Okay, that fell. Get it later. Probably gonna have to get that later too, because that fell. Yeah, I can get that. I'll show it to you once I get it out. Okay, there's that bolt. That was a 14. So this should be loose. I think there's a coolant tube that goes along the bottom of it that does connect to the, it eventually goes up to the front of the engine there. So I think at this point I do need to drain some radiator fluid because I got to disconnect that line. The rest of this should be fairly okay. Then I'll be able to get the fuel lines off and probably need to disconnect the other two radiator hoses over here as well. So yeah, so we'll do that. Let's drain some coolant. Okay, radiator's drained. We've got to disconnect the two heater hoses over here. Oh, Lord. That should have been drained out of there. Okay. Got to get this front one off over here. Sometimes I really hate these spring clamps. Okay. I don't know, this tube's a little loose. Why is the tube loose? Oh, because it's bolts it down into the intake manifold on one of the screws. I do believe. Yeah. So should have disconnected these radiator hoses first. So that's what you should do. It'll make it a little easier to do. Okay, no big deal. So let's see if we can get this out of here now. This should thread through. Yeah, it's just I think it's just the fuel lines. Oh, actually, I think this wiring harness is clipped to the bottom. Why do they do that? Oh, I see, there's a bracket. This wiring harness, there's also a clip for it. So let's see if I can reach down there and unclip it. I didn't see that before. Yeah, see the fuel lines are in the way. All right, why don't we let's work on getting the fuel lines off of there. Probably should have been step number one, and after all, I was thinking it would just be easier, but there's a bracket that I couldn't see. So I can't really show these fuel lines. They're just in a really hard place, but I will try to show you after I have it off. Basically show you what you need to do. Okay, there's one. Ooh, and that second one is kind of a pain. You know, it might just be easier to disconnect that one line from the fuel filter down here. I remember changing this fuel filter once before. Yeah, okay, so that's off. So now that we're off there, we should need to figure out this bracket, which is of course bolted to the back where you can't get at it. You just unplug what's connected to it. Looks like that's a quick connector. Okay, so that's the pop-off connector for this harness. So that you just kind of push down on from the bottom and that pops out. Oh, okay, so I got that other connector off, but it's still attached to the side of the intake manifold on that bracket. It's like a little, one of those little Christmas tree fasteners that just clips in. Yeah, I got it. So that should be it, right? Please. What else? What else? Okay, no, they really want you to take this bracket off of here. Why? Why do they put brackets like that in impossible to reach places? So I think that's a 10. Yeah, should be. Can I get on it? Yeah. Little 10mm bolt. And now we're nice and free. Man, so that's our prize. So just to show you, this was bolted down to this bracket right here. There was a bolt going through from above, and there was this line bolted down, and there was another little bracket down there that went here as well. That was the bolt that I just pulled off. It's down right here. Can't even see it. There's another, that little line's attached to it with Christmas tree clips. That's why it wasn't coming up. And what else? I think that's kind of it. So the fuel lines are here and here. I couldn't actually reach back and get this line, but with these, you just push these in, hold on to these clips, I believe. You got to hold on to them when they're down, and then they pull off. So that's how you get those off. And that's it. So get that gasket out of there. That should be all we need to remove from this end. This bracket might give us a little trouble as we lift the head up and off, but I don't really think it's going to be that easy to get it off. I mean, it might be, but I don't think we need to. We can just wait. I do want to get these connectors out of there. That would be a helpful thing to do. So if we go ahead, take a look in there at the back of those intake valves, see if we can see that. You can see that they're pretty gunked up. Hopefully you can see. I can see. Like the number one, the backs of those are not too gunked up at all. I can't really see into number 4 too well. I think they're just about the same as number 1, I do believe. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe failure of the valve stem seals just caused excess oil to get in there. But then again, you can see oil on the front of these intake ports right here. So there must have been oil getting in somehow. Maybe that's like a failure of the intake manifold gasket, or I don't know. I got to look at the intake manifold a little more closely. So yeah, you can see oil all in the intake ports right here. I don't know exactly what that's from. You know, these fuel injectors, I guess they have vacuum lines right here, which I've never quite seen. I'm unfamiliar with that sort of design, I suppose. But I don't know why oil would be getting in here. There's obviously something causing it. I'll investigate more a little later, but yeah, that's it's pretty odd. Let's get this upper coolant hose off of here. I'll just leave that in. Little gasket in the back. I think for now, I can just take this belt out of the way, get this guy off. That, oh, that's bigger. So we've just got these 2/17 here, and this like fan pulley bracket should come off. Okay, I don't want to break this thing. I don't know how much torque I can give the ratchet in there before it breaks. You know, that should have been it. Oh, I think there's another one down here. So we're all off together. It's the most substantial thing I've taken off so far. So now we should be able to get this top cover off at least. And now we can take a look at the timing belt. Which, you know, this would have been easy to do now that I've done it. Okay. Yeah, so our alignment is good between the two. I think we did end up on top dead center on one of these. Okay, so the air conditioning belt, there's a little pulley down here, and if you unbolt the middle of it to unlock it, and then underneath there should be another little bolt that you run in, if I can get on it. So that should actually loosen it. I wonder if I did it enough. Yeah, let's do it a little more. Okay, let's try to remember the orientation of the belt. The writing is upside down, so I'll put it on upside down. This is the alternator belt. Same thing, upside down. Now we just have that power steering belt to think about. And I don't remember the tensioner on that one. Oh, I see. There's a little bolt on this other side that we'll probably just need to disconnect. I don't think there's a side bolt to run it in. Yeah, it looks like you just kind of tension that by hand. Yeah, it's a 14. So it's, let's see if I can get you guys on the other side here.
So this is the best angle I'm going to get you guys at. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but there's just a bolt right there. So if we loosen that one, I think we should be able to pivot this. We might need to loosen a bottom bolt as well in order to get it to pivot. Probably right down there. Oh, look at that, I found it. Yeah, that's all you need. Loosen that bottom bolt. That should move in for you. Get that belt off of there. And it looks like it won't come out from around this tensioner down here, so I'm just going to leave it off to the side. So this is the best angle I can give you for this. I'm not sure if you can actually see the crank pulley, but there is a center crank pulley bolt, but you don't actually have to pull that off. There are 10mm bolts surrounding that you can pull off, and that will pull the pulley off. Wonder if we give that a few love taps. I see it moving. There we go. So there were just 6 little bolts in there, and looks like there's a keyway. So when we put it back on, we'll have to note that. So now we can just get the lower cover off. One there, and I think one right here. Lower cover. There's a little plate that you can pull off, and the bevel goes inside. See how it's like beveled? So now let's confirm the alignment down here, because we should be on top dead center. I see where the center mark is on the engine, but I don't see where the center mark is on the pulley, or where it's supposed to be. I mean, we are at top dead center. We know that. The piston's at top dead center. Let's just reconfirm though. Oh no, okay. That's top dead center. No, okay, yeah, the engine moved just when I was pulling that pulley out. So yeah, camshafts are aligned. Those are the marks right there. Align there, align there. The timing belt seems a little loose, I'll tell you that. Normally you wouldn't expect that kind of looseness on a timing belt. I'm just gonna run it around and look for any ribs that are missing. Yeah, I don't see any missing ribs, but it definitely is strange. Okay, I think I'm satisfied. Timing belt seems absolutely fine. So what you need to do to get this off, we gotta loosen this bolt here, loosen the timing pulley, tensioner pulley. And then we're going to use a brake or a pry bar to move this pulley over in the loose position. Then we're going to lock it down. So now that we're in the loose position, we can just get the belt off. And I'm going to mark this belt for direction just in case. I'll put a mark on it going that way, like that. Probably going to be putting a new timing belt on this thing anyway, but it's good to mark them just in case. So we're going to need to take off these pulleys here. So 1 and 1. And then we just need to get this front case off. I think I'll just put these back where I found them. This that front piece actually might not have needed to be removed. That probably would have come out with the head, but there's no harm in removing it. So I'm gonna get these bolts back in. Then we should be able to pull off the exhaust manifold and then pull the head off. The exhaust manifold is actually really easy. There are 4 bolts for the cover, but I'm missing one right here. Gonna need to disconnect the oxygen sensor back here. Okay, I got it. You just gotta push on the very back underneath down here. Yeah, it looks like this manifold's already cracking, which just happens to these things. I think there's like a warranty on this though, because I didn't do this one too long ago. So I'll have to dig that up and check it out. Don't really care right now. So you just need to get 5 bolts off from the catalytic converter and then all the bolts off from the side of the manifold. You know, I'm wondering if I am going to replace that manifold, I think I want to try to get that oxygen sensor out of there before I pull it out. That one came out easy. I have another video on replacing this exhaust manifold, and the first O2 sensor did not come out of there easy at all. Not at all. In fact, it didn't come out, period. Gotta grab those from the side. Give it a little reach around. Can we get that one? Let's do it the easy way. Just the 2 in the back. I'm being stubborn. I know it. There, see? So the head bolts are 12-point 14mm bolts. So you need a 12-point socket. These are actually fine. I'm just gonna use this. That's gonna get trapped between the hood. That's loose. Alrighty, let's get this head off of here. Yeah, nice and free. Okay, I just want to get these fasteners, or these wiring harnesses off the back here. Let's see. Wow, that one's hard to get off. Need a little pocket screwdriver. I gotta get to the other side there. Ah, okay. So that just unplugs. This does need to come out of this bracket. Stupid. There's another one down here. That one does not need to come off. That should be it. Nope, I'm wrong. There's that one on that side. Okay. That's got to be it. Yep. So these are the bottoms of number 2 valves, guys. And as you can see, they're very crudded up and gunked with carbon. I think because of this oil that's been leaking into these cylinders for whatever reason. So that's it. That's the cause. And we should be able to fix this by just taking these valves out, cleaning them up on the wire wheel, and cleaning this thing up as best we can and getting it back in the car. Well, all in all, it's not too difficult a job. Actually pretty easy to pull that head off. We can see now that those intake valves are gunked up, so we should be able to pull them out and clean them up on the wire wheel and solve that problem. But, you know, looking at that head, the thing looks so dirty. And part of me is contemplating just going to my local machine shop and asking them, like a different machine shop than last time. I think there's another local one that might be a little bit cheaper. And I'm just gonna ask them, you know, how much to hot tank it, and maybe how much to do a valve job, how much to resurface it. And maybe if that's around $300, I'll convince my friend to pop for that. I already looked, and the whole head gasket and all the other gasket set is like 35 bucks on eBay, so that's not too bad. We got to figure out what's causing that oil to be in there. You know, I got to take a look at the valve stem seals to see if it's that, but we're seeing oil in the intake as well, so that needs to be investigated too. We got to figure out what's causing that, because I don't want to put this all back together and have the same problem happen. So I'm gonna have to investigate that, figure out what's causing that. Anyway, that's the end of this video. If you liked it, please subscribe. I'm the 50s Kid. Thanks a lot for watching.